What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yes, welcome in, guys. And today, now, quick turnaround as we talk about Washington and their offense versus our Big D. Yeah, Sam Howell, Ron Rivera, Scary Terry. We're going to talk about it all tonight here and the matchups to watch for in this Thanksgiving Day game here. So anyways, as we roll into this, we got to shout out those that make the thing happen here. And of course, you got a full takeover here by the man, Snug X. You know why he's here.
You do. Thank you so much to the sponsor of the week, the Cash App King.
Much love.
Appreciate you, of course. And representing up above, if you notice, who's bossing that stream around?
Man from
Hawaii. Mahalo to Marco Seppian. He's got 17 points on the board. Some Brandon Aubrey representation. Can't do it better than that.
He's hanging on to that. Much love to Mr. Marco Seppian. And then look above that. You got the gifting champion, Jason Renfro, who, by the way, I think he's back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys, and maybe going for a three-peat. He's got a lead right now, 1-0 versus everyone. Jason Renfro kicking off the week with a gifting membership. So appreciate you, sir, and everybody in the house. You know, Jason Renfro is also, pretty sure he is he leading the Cash App board right now? I'm not sure about that. I think he is, actually. He is. Yes, he is actually the Cash App leader. Boom, right there. So much love to Jason Renfro. And again, he's trying to do a little mini takeover himself here. But on the overall board, we have a tie for first place. Amazing Games and Ms. Hansalu.
Alondra Hansalu.
Yes. So much love to everybody here. And the battle continues here on night 2 of the week. On a very quick, short week, and then a little bit of a breather. Of a week break to next Thursday. I'm going to give you a little insight about that Seattle game coming up on Thursday Night Football as well. Anyways, appreciate everybody here that does the thing here with us. And, of course, there's ways of dropping the love here and supporting the channel, whether it's through Super Chat, gifting memberships, jumping in there and getting a membership as well. We got 4 different levels. And, of course, the thanks button, which you sometimes see after videos posted. So, or live stream, I guess. But there's 4 other ways that you can get in the mix when it comes to the Cash App Kingdom.
Of course, we have the Cash App Money Side My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a Super Chat.
Yes, appreciate everybody on that side of things. And also those in the top shelf, cream of the crop membership levels, navy blue and silver too. Much love to both of you guys. Fan Friday coming up here in a couple of days. We will, of course, give the shout outs for the silver level as well. But in that star level and over everything level, we always do the nightly shout outs because you're part of this channel making this thing what it is. So, baby, without further ado, let's do them shout outs.
A huge thank you to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, The Lunatic, and over everything, C. Bass.
Hell yeah. We'll see him back up here, I'm sure, very soon. One of our over everything level perks on there. So, again, appreciate you guys. Much love. And, you know, baby, we got to do those nightly shout-outs.
Oh, you know it.
Everybody in the house currently with us right now. So, baby, without further ado, let's go.
Shout out to Stephen White. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Yes.
Mike Aldana. Much love.
We'll get that replay for him.
Asmodeus representing. You already know. Scorpio, much love, hello and hi. William Burney saying Cowboys 30, Washington 17 already. But score predictions bringing them in hot.
In Dallas, it's got to be bigger than that. That's the way I see it.
So let me see. Do we have? Yes, we do. House Nelson in the house.
Yes.
Dino Berry Sports, much love as well. Cameron, hello and hi. Kind of rolling back. See Bass, much love to you. So, hey, you know, the other team's bad luck is just our team's good fortune.
I actually have a little thing about that luck comment we had yesterday in discussion about the Eagles and Cowboys. I'll explain that here as we kick this thing off. So, again, power-packed episode here in MCF. Let's start off. By the way, I should say this as well. The current leader on the Cash App board is Jason Renfro, but he also dropped a $2.38 holler a little earlier this evening, so pre-streaming it. Appreciate you, Jason Renfro, as he adds to his lead there in the Cash App side of things. Now, we also have to talk about yesterday's game again. Yes, the Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs. Not a great ending for Cowboy fans there, but ESPN's showing when they put this on TV yesterday, the Monday Night Football game. It's the most watched Monday Night Football game in 27 years. It drew more than 29 million viewers. That's across ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, on and on. ESPN Plus, Deportes, all that. NFL Plus. Anyways, the audience of 29.021 million viewers is a television franchise best, and Walt Disney. That's under Walt Disney ownership there with ESPN. It's their best since Green Bay at Dallas in 1996.
Oh.
Yeah,
ouch.
I remember that was.
I thought you were going to say like more recent.
No, that's when the Cowboys actually won a Super Bowl. So 31.5 million people watched that game way back then. But yeah, all eyes are in Dallas. Imagine that nowadays. I mean, if the Cowboys play the Chiefs, how much bigger would it be? It'd be obviously a lot bigger than it'd probably break this Green Bay Dallas game back in '96. But either way, the new mark right now spans more than 450 games. That's how long this thing's been tracked, and the entire ESPN era of Monday Night Football since they've had it on their channel. So, by the way, I wanted to say one last thing about that game last night. And this I never really mentioned this too much, but the second half they were shut out. They've been shut out for the last 3 games in the second half. The Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. The Chiefs haven't scored a second half touchdown since October 22nd. And right now they're averaging the lowest points per game in the second half of any single team in the NFL, even the Cardinals.
Ouch.
So, anyways, sorry. So, anyway,
I had to throw that out there for the family.
Yeah, Dr. G in the place to be. So now there was a big move that may actually include. I mean, a lot of Cowboy fans are talking about this possible new player coming to the team. Former All-Pro and Pro Bowler, Colts linebacker Shaq Leonard, Darius Leonard. Again, one of the better linebackers in the NFL, at least in the last couple of years. I'd say give it a couple of year break here, but the last year and a half has been a little rougher for him. But before that, he's top-notch linebacker. His playing time was cut down. I'll explain that more this year, and he has actually spoken publicly about that. But now he's officially been released from the Indianapolis Colts, which is a big. Everyone's kind of in shock that one of the better linebackers in the league is now a free agent or on waivers. He goes through waivers. He just can't be picked up. So he goes through waivers. If a team has to set a waiver claim for him, if they do, they would owe him what's the remainder of his contract, $6.1 million for the $6.11 million for the rest of this season. Now he's also under contract through 2026. Next year, $16.1 million. 2025, $19 million. 2026, $19.6 million. But I do want to add that he has no guaranteed money after after this season. For 2024, 25, 26 he just be cut and waived, and there's going to be a minimal, if anything. I don't even know if there's any kind of payment unless there's some rollback money that they would have to pay on that. That's it. So he's kind of a 1-year deal kind of guy, and then if they could restructure him, maybe there's a way you can keep him on your team. But he's a guy that's kind of dipped a little bit in playing time, but still has been playing pretty damn good. And another thing, people were saying that he was requesting to be traded or recut. According to him, Shaquille Leonard did not request his release. In his own words. So again, he was told on Monday by defensive coordinator Gus Bradley that he was being benched, and then of course told separately today of his release officially. And he was still passing out Thanksgiving turkeys and doing stuff in the community there in Indianapolis, even though he's no longer a Colt. So how does this affect the Cowboys? Should the Cowboys go check out this newly released linebacker who has some skills for sure? So let's go back and look at Stephon Gilmore. Remember, he was there with the Colts last year and played with Darius Shaq Leonard last year in Indianapolis. And this was on the Cowboys Hour, which I think is on Cowboys.com, whatever. But Stephon Gilmore mentioned that he wanted to come to Dallas after talking with Gus Bradley about his time he spent with Dan Quinn. And saying what kind of coach Dan Quinn is, that kind of perked up, Stephon Gilmore's desire to say, hey, I'll go to I accept the trade if you sent me here, from the Colts to the Cowboys. So, given around the news about the guy who's been injured there at linebacker for us with the neck, LVE, who's done for the season, maybe done for his career. All right? Stephon Gilmore probably, could give his best kind of, reviews, I guess you can say, of how he feels Darius Leonard is. And if anybody has a little bit of insight, it would be Stephon Gilmore. So you don't be surprised about that.
Yeah, he would be the one to kind of hit up and see if he's got some inside info, right?
I mean, exactly. They've done this with coaches and other players before about other players. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of teams do that.
Even if it's just like a general, hey, one of the coaches says, hey, like, what do you think about so-and-so? How do you feel about him? What do we need to know? Like, just, just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like Jerry himself is going to sit down and like, conduct the interview.
Right. They got people out there doing that stuff. So that's the key there. Will the Cowboys actually go place a waiver claim? And if we did, we're way back on that list. We're not going to get that waiver claim done. It's not. It probably somebody else with a bigger need is going to probably pluck them off the waivers there. So again, there's just some connective, people here that connect to Darius Leonard. And if there's anything the Cowboys want to know, or are kind of looking at Leonard to maybe say, hey, we might pick him up, they can talk to someone like Stephon Gilmore as an example. Now, as far as his ability right now when it comes to Darius Leonard, he can still really run. He plays very aware, with a lot of great awareness there. He does miss a tackle here and there, so keep that in mind, but he does finish the play. He comes off the field when teams go in nickel. So that's something that, if it's a passing down, he's off the field. So, but he has great length for the linebacker position. He covers ground. So again, with LV being gone, is this? I'm asking the family here in the chat. I'm asking you: do you think Darius Leonard is a guy you pick up for $6.11 million for the rest of the year? I mean, the Cowboys have done deals like this in trades and stuff like this before, where they've gotten a player in a half a season, ate some of that contract, but had them on a 1 year basically deal, which is this is what it is. It's a 1 year deal. Stephon Gilmore, connection with him. Dan Quinn and Gus Bradley worked together in Seattle. So there's connections through there. I personally don't think the Cowboys are going to make a claim on his contract, that's $6.11 million. But afterwards, here's the thing I'm saying. If for some crazy reason he doesn't clear waivers, then I would say go get him without question. Because now you're not intertwined with that $6.11 million. Now you could sign him for whatever you sign him for. It could be $2 million. It could be $1.5 million. Whatever it would be, the contract would be a whole new contract. So, if he clears waivers, you got to pick up. If he doesn't clear waivers, you got to pick up that contract. If he does clear waivers, now he's a free agent, and anybody can sign him for anything. So that's the way it goes. Again, I think the Cowboys will not get him because someone will pick him up before he clears waivers.
Cameron throwing out there too. Don't the Dallas and the Colts have a good connection with each other?
Well, it used to be Everfluss went out there, right? And there was some connection, but now Everfluss is now with the Bears. So he used to be our linebacker coach. What, any thoughts on this? You think the Cowboys will go get Darius Leonard and pick up that $6 million?
I think they should make an honest attempt at it. And by honest, I do mean legitimate.
So you're
right?
saying, are you saying going to get him off the waiver list, or are you saying to kind of wait for him to go through waivers and try to make a deal with him there? Because I would do that.
I hate to be that person, but I think both, and that's what I mean. Like,
so you're saying make the waiver claim for him?
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth attempting.
Yeah. Now, let's say
I'm kind of with you though. Like I don't like attempting it and actually getting it are two separate things.
Well, here's the reason why, because you pick them up no matter what for that, but it's on the waiver claim. So the worst teams usually make the claim. Let's say the Arizona Cardinals made a claim for Darius Leonard, and the Cowboys were the only other team that made a claim for Darius Leonard. The Cardinals being way up on that list would then get him first. Doesn't matter who wants him, who's going to pay him more. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's done. So that's the way it is. If there's 18 teams going for him, the one highest on the waiver list gets him. So he won't go through that. He will not make it past 32 teams and not get claimed. But hey, why not if you put the claim in, you got to pay the 6.11. That's the thing. That's the reason why I say the Cowboys won't do that, because the Cowboys don't want to pay that. Oh, if they do, then you definitely put the claim in, but don't expect to get him. Is my point. So I don't know. But if he somehow slips through all those waivers and doesn't get through all the teams, and he doesn't get picked up through waivers, then I say you definitely try to sign him. So I don't know if any other thoughts in there.
Let me see here. Cameron said we just need to stop the run more. Mike Aldana throwing out there, how many more linebackers do we need?
It depends how much you like.
A few more, realistically speaking.
It depends how much you like Rashaan Evans.
And kind of roll back as well to the comments made by Jerry Jones once he basically officially confirmed that LVE was going to be out for the season. So
last week,
I don't remember exactly, but he kind of paraphrasing here. He did basically say that this means that we have to look at the linebacker position in a short term and in a long term type of way, because this obviously changes things.
It's about the draft.
So
for LV, but also for the
so
Cowboys.
Short and long term, of course, that could mean a variety of things. But hey, picking up a guy like this, I think that fits in the short and long term box.
He does, but you got to hope that he still is able to do the things he was doing. Why did he lose some play time? Is it something with the team? Is it something that he was losing his ability to play? He misses a couple tackles. Is that the only reason? I mean, so I think the Cowboys are going to do their quote-unquote due diligence, but also make a move for him if he clears waivers. That's just me. That's me. I don't think the Cowboys want to spend $6 million plus on a waiver claim for a guy for, 7 weeks in the playoffs. So that's just me.
So let me see. And MH said, I don't think we need another linebacker.
There you go. So again, there's your answer. I think that's kind of the mindset at the Cowboys front office and organization and coaches.
Seabass out there haven't even seen Rashaan Evans. Maybe he's not him.
That's my thing. I think that he's just his play has diminished a little bit in the last year and a half, and maybe the Colts know something we don't know. But he's just not worth that money, is what the Colts are trying to say. And to roll the dice on him for 6 months, I mean for 6, 7, 8, 10 games at most. I mean, maybe it is worth the $6 million. At the same time, the way the Cowboys are going to need money for CeeDee Lamb, extending Dak, many other guys, the offensive linemen we got to worry about here, or we're going to redraft like a Biotish. Then that's when we'll see, the Cowboys desperately needing that $6 million. They're not gonna just piss it away, in my opinion. On a Darius Leonard for short term, on a roll of the dice, his play time has diminished and he hasn't really been doing much on the field. So, anyways, look, when we talk about this, we see the other teams out there making moves and doing things out there when it comes to the trade deadline and the Eagles and the Niners being some of those teams. After this weekend went by and all the games that were played, the odds for the Cowboys to win the NFC East dropped. It was at 250 to 1 odds. We went to 650 to 1 odds right now. So even though the Cowboys won, it was a bad week for the Cowboys when it comes to the playoff chances. And we kind of discussed it the other night.
Everything else that
because the Eagles
could have gone our way did not.
Yeah.
And the Eagles game is obviously the biggest blow, specifically to us. So, okay, no, I thought you were going to...
I don't know if no, that's exactly the reason why. So the Eagles... here's the thing I want to say. We might have talked about luck, and if a team is... I think a team is lucky... I think the Eagles are lucky, but they're lucky because their coaching puts themselves in better situations, more opportune situations. I mean, listen, last night Jalen Carter dove underneath the center and tried to make an interception on a spike. I mean, I never seen anything like it. He said he saw it on YouTube, and he tried to do it in the game, and he literally almost got... If you see it, I know you haven't seen it, but you'd be like, what the hell? Like, he almost got an interception on a spike. I've never seen anything like it. So, those are the things the Eagles kind of coach or teach or inspire in their players. And then these players go out there and do this, and they seem more aware on things sometimes.
You can't teach that type of internal motivation to want to do better on your own, right? Hannibal King 47
in the house.
$5 holler.
5 on it.
I appreciate you. You know what he said?
Let me know.
What do we look like without Lamb? No, seriously. So
I mean, without Lamb, we definitely don't look as good. I mean, when you take away your, a top 5, at the very least, top 5 receiver in the NFL, and our big time number 1. I mean, what if you take away, Justin Jefferson? Oh wait, that happened. See, it doesn't look very good. And when you take away some of these other top notch receivers, the team never really looks as good. So obviously, without CeeDee Lamb, we'd be in trouble, right? But you'd figure that in some games, Brandon Cooks and others would be able to take advantage of, poor defenses and get open. But it wouldn't be a domination from CeeDee Lamb.
What do we look like without Lamb? Like shit.
as we should, as any team would. Yeah, as any team would, right? If you lose your best receiver, you're going to look like crap.
Yeah, and I will throw this out there because I said it. I'm going to keep saying it. I do truly believe that the lack of CeeDee Lamb this past Sunday was a specific scheming thing, right? With our next tough stretch of games, I think we purposely did not target CeeDee as much as we could have.
Or at least wanted to target other guys a little more in these games. I agree. Last week of the Giants and this week, we definitely were targeting Brandon Cooks and Tolbert. I think this game a lot more. So I agree with that. But CeeDee got some of his looks, of course, last week. And this week, a lot less. Look, remember, though, we're playing against the fourth best pass defense in the NFL. And even with our offense, they still held Dak to like 180 yards, 86 yards passing. Subpar for the usual Dak Prescott against a shitty team, right? But they still have a good pass defense. Their run defense actually played pretty well, compared to what they've done this year, the Panthers. So that was a little disappointing on my side of things for our run offense. But they did better, a lot better, more efficient runs in this game, and we didn't really focus on the run in this game as much as I thought we would. We passed a lot more than I thought in this game against the Panthers. So, but I did want to say, maybe going back to our discussion yesterday, we're wearing matching shirts almost there. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to luck, and we had discussed this, I think coaching makes a difference. The Eagles are puts
you in a better position to take advantage of those lucky moments.
Yeah, exactly. Those moments that are hanging there to be taken. So the teams, when it comes to the Cowboys and the Eagles, it's only it's a 2-game difference in standings. 3 when you look at tiebreaker. But the team, when you look at both these teams, the difference in really what it is when you look at analytics is opponent drop pass luck and fumble recovery luck, which is actually an analytic out there. Again, basically, guys, the Eagles have a lot of opportunities. They put themselves in opportune situations to make things happen. And again, drop passes as well is for the opponent. Look at the Chiefs yesterday. How many they dropped touchdowns? These are not just like little quick little slants. These are bona fide 100% guaranteed touchdowns if the guy makes the grab. And Eagle opponents have done this more than Eagle opponents have dropped more passes in in the most important moments. That has happened more to the Eagles, than anyone else. So in a way, again, if you want to measure luck, that is the Eagles getting lucky that these big plays are being dropped against them. And they're sneaking by in close games. Now, I'm not trying to say this to pump up the situation. I'm just looking at it as the way it is. But is that luck? Or again, some of it is luck. Yes, I agree. But they've also in my belief is that they put themselves in the right spot to be fortunate. You know what I mean? And again, when you look at the fumble recovery, baby, you yourself said this during the Eagle-Cowboy game. That we had 3 fumbles and we didn't recover any of them.
We recovered 0 of them.
Yes.
That still, again, sticks with me like a freaking splinter under your nail. Like, it is irritating, it is bothersome, and it's hard to... I'm just saying, like, it's hard to keep it in the back of your mind sometimes, in the sense that I just want things to start going our way again. It's clear that we can make those big plays against those big teams, but damn, if we can't capitalize on those and turn them our way, you're right. We're never going to be able to beat teams like the Eagles if we can't turn the tide our direction. Well, and like you said, good coaching and good execution, it is 99% of the luck that you see out there. Yeah. So, we can forcibly turn the tide our way.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do about like drop passes, right? But when Micah gets a sack and he's looking for the ball and the other players are celebrating, that's the awareness factor. I know it's execution on the players, but it's also not coaching. Focus on defense. Too much celebrating bullshit, and that can screw you. I'm not saying it really happened to us, but if it does, it would be frustrating, and that's where the Eagles they're looking for it to happen. Cowboys are waiting for it to happen and celebrating first. Look, fuck the power rankings. You know how we do this, right? Always fuck the power rankings. But as some of you guys always want to know, how is that going? A lot of outlets have us at like 5th or 7th, and they have us usually in this week going up a little bit or staying the same place. NFL.com still has us at 7th place on the power rankings. ESPN put us from 7th to 6th. USA Today from 7th to 5th. Yahoo still at 7. CBS Sports, we were at 4th. They moved us to 3rd. Holy shit. All right. Whatever. The only power ranking that matters is who's holding up that trophy at the end of the year. The Athletic has us at 12. They had us at 12th. They moved us up to 7th. And Sports Illustrated at 7th to 6th. So that's it. We just look a top 5-ish team at best. So again, all that stuff is bullshit. Just want to make sure you guys know. But hey, you guys want your weekly dosage, you got it. Now, one last little thing here before we get to what I think our owner spoke of today, Mr. Jared Jones. There's a player poll out there being conducted, and they're asking, what is the most annoying fan base? The players overwhelmingly spoke basically about 2 teams that are the most annoying without question. The Philadelphia Eagles, number 1, which I can definitely agree to that. 25.3%. That's a fourth of the players think that. And then 24.7% for our Dallas Cowboys in second place. All the other teams that only got like 1 vote got like 8.2%. That was a combination. They're third. That's the third. It's like every like 15 teams. And then the Bills, Jets, Steelers, Bears, Raiders, Patriots, Bengals, Packers, and Chargers being the least annoying. They were those last ones there. I think the others included the Browns, Bucks, Colts, Giants, Niners, and Seahawks. Yeah. So anyways, look, the key thing is here with the players, there's only 73 responses. Of course, there's like 1,700 players in the NFL. So this is a very small sample size. I'm sure this will be continuing, but the fact that 73 people already, and you break it down, have over half the league. They must have asked the Eagle and Cowboy players, because over half the league hates one of those 2 teams. So either way, I obviously think the Eagles have the most annoying fan base, but I can understand why people think our fan base is annoying too.
I said this, I don't know if I said this live on stream, but I do think that just happens to be a rule of numbers, right? We just happen to have the largest fan base. So, of course, a larger majority of people who aren't fans are going to look at us and say, oh, man, these guys are obnoxious or whatever. So, you get my point?
Yes, I do.
So, and also...
That's a good point.
Of course, just like everything else,
delusional.
The maybe the loudest among us aren't necessarily the rightest among us. So, if people are hearing Cowboy fans, they might be hearing to a particular subset of Cowboy fans. So, just throwing that out there too.
More facts, by the way, being dropped.
Oh, so, and MH said, we have great stats, and we are still bad.
What do you mean? Wait, explain.
So, I'm guessing he says, let me see. At least to me, I just take that as, again, we obviously do have great stats, and we are putting up stats, but we're still, we're not
we're a good team.
The deal.
We're a good team, but the stats don't mean anything if you can't win the games and beat the good teams and win in the playoffs. That's what we need to see from this Cowboy team. We can do it. Will we do it? It's in the Cowboys' hands on this.
Yeah, that's a separate question. Yeah. But included in that, though, is a man, Hannibal King, 47. Much love once again with another $5 holler.
He's about to drop that 5 on it, and that's going to put Markov Sepien down to 7 points in the Stream Boss, and it's going to put Hannibal King, 47. Guess where, baby? In first place on the overall board, jumping over Amazing Games and Alanda Hanslu. It is Hannibal King 47 in the top spot here on a Tuesday night. So what the man Hannibal King have to say, baby?
Just the thought. We would look so much more scary if we had another dominant pass rusher to be the counterpunch for 11 on the other side.
I mean, again, it'd be nice to find that, right? We had some chances with TJ Watt. If we had got him instead of Taco, it would have been great. But we might not have drafted Micah. Who knows? The thing is that while Tank is kind of, you can see he's an edge rusher, edge stopper, and he does get in there. He is a good pass rusher, but he's not as scary as Micah Parsons. If you want to get somebody that matches that's going to be hard to find. But there are some free agents out there you can always pluck and put on your team. But there were Von Millers and who's the guy that we just played him? Oh man, from the Chargers. Formerly of the Bears, I forgot his name now. But some of these guys, formerly of the Raiders as well, these guys are very good. Khalil Mack. No, Khalil Mack.
Okay.
Khalil Mack. These guys are edge rushers or linebacker, outside linebackers are playing a 3-4 can put pressure and blitz, and that's what you can get one of these guys that are always floating around out there. So if the Cowboys were serious, they could do the same thing that they did with Stephon Gilmore, and you got somebody, a veteran, to match up with Trayvon Diggs. The Cowboys could go and make a trade or a move to get a guy, let's say in that same kind of category or part of his career at the edge, and bring him in to team up with specifically Micah Parsons. I think we have to wait till DeMarcus Lawrence is maybe gone before that happens. But it could happen, and it may happen. So Hannibal King, if that does happen one day, as long as that inside the middle, the defensive tackles can bully up the middle and bum rush that and push the pocket back in the quarterback's face, it's the end of quarterbacks really having more than a second and a half to throw that ball against our defense. At least for that year. If we stay everyone healthy, man, that'd be dominance. Much better even than what we have on that field now. So, and
by the way, it was Khalil Mack.
Thank you, chat. There you go. Yes, thank you. We're on the same page. Everyone's reading my mind. Baby, I'm going to read your mind here. So I want to know what Jerry Jones said today and what made his decision on putting in Jimmy Johnson finally into the Ring of Honor. So, Jerry Jones spoke today about a couple of things, mainly about Jimmy Johnson. I'm going to be honest, when it comes to the main part of importance of what he said, I'll touch on a couple of things later at the end of this. But how did he break this down, baby, when it comes to the Jimmy Johnson decision and putting him in the Ring of Honor? Jerry spoke.
So Jerry said, I saw a little of the edge. Let me see.
He was talking. Well, first,
I was gonna say sorry. You kind of mentioned the first part. So when he decided to put Jimmy into the Ring of Honor was partially when DeMarcus Ware was, inducted. Oh, gee, I wonder why. But he said that the response to Ware going into the Ring of Honor before Jimmy got into the Ring of Honor kind of made him go oh shit, I guess that's a good point.
Woke him up, motivated him to get Jimmy Johnson in there. But look, to me, it feels like bullshit because he knows how much it would affect, how much the Cowboy fan base would love this. So he was on Shannon RJ. And again, the response, he said basically the response to Ware getting in there before Jimmy Johnson woke him up.
He said, I saw a little of the edge that was there by not putting him in when we put DeMarcus Ware in. I thought, I didn't intend for this. So that, number one, motivated me. Jimmy, for me, was always, after he left the Cowboys and we enjoyed the kinds of success that we had with his involvement in the early 90s, he was always there for the Ring of Honor. Now, he only coached here 5 years, which makes it that much more exceptional. Landry was here 29 years. He's the only other coach in the Ring of Honor, and I think it's particularly special.
So they're just breaking it down again. I think he knew this the whole time. What else did he say?
Oh, he said, the waiting term isn't a product of this process. So everybody that is going to go in there because the future is waiting. The point is, because we're open for business at the Ring of Honor, that's some of the order of things. When you start talking about timing, there's never been an idea or presented at all. It's a special group that's in the Ring of Honor out there. It's special. That's the way I was told it needed to be. It needs to be very exclusive. All those other things, Ware fits the picture.
It almost feels like he's not talking about Jimmy Johnson, though, right? He's like, Ware fits it. That's why his motivation to put him in there first. And Jimmy's sitting there still waiting years and years later. So, again, Jerry Jones also asked specifically when he arrived at that decision to say, hey, you know what? I got to put Jimmy in here. When did he decide that?
Yeah, he said, during DeMarcus Ware's time this year when we put him in the ring, I didn't want to do it last week because we were recognizing our Medal of Honor recipients and basically representing our service people. I didn't want to do anything, particularly since we're so committed and excited about what we're doing with the Medal of Honor recipients. So I didn't want anything to get confused there. That's the reason we made that announcement over in Charlotte, and that's the reason we're going to do this thing when Aikman and Buck are here.
Again, true. I mean, they are doing that game ESPN against the Lions, so Aikman's going to be in attendance. Joe Buck, who cares? But yes, those guys will be there from ESPN.
I guess he has to be there.
Well, yeah, he's doing the but he has no connection to the Cowboys. I know, but I understand why he wants Aikman there. That's a good deal there. I'm sure all the other former Cowboy players of the '90s going to be coming out that night. And it's going to be real special. So that's what Jerry Jones said there on that topic. He also said other things I guess a little more on Jimmy Johnson. He said, again, a lot of people think it's a curse, as a lot of the people here, us as well. We think it's kind of a, haha, curse kind of thing, but it's not haha when you listen 27 years. I still think it's rowdy. But Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones asked if putting him in there will finally end the Cowboys Super Bowl drought. And Jerry Jones said, well, I will believe anything that helps. I'm a superstitious guy. So I guess I must believe in that as well. Candidly, I certainly would have wanted to win more games than that we've had the chance to while being a part of the Cowboys. So, again, he just wanted to win more games as in more Super Bowls, and that's under his watch, under his reign. So, yeah. Look, either way, I don't believe – I'm not really as superstitious, but I do – maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe if it helps people play better, I don't know. Jimmy Johnson's in, I guess that's great. But I think it's just really the true issue is the old man right there. It's Jerry Jones and his mismanagement as the GM for the Dallas Cowboys. Anyways, he also spoke about two of our current players, DaRon Bland. He said this about number 26, quote, their purpose is to get the ball. And boy, when he's out there to catch the ball, you can see it. You can see it was mentally in his mind to take it and go to the house with it. He's playing at a level that distinguishes himself. So again, guys, remember that pick he had, DaRon Bland, undercutting that pass? I mean, he rolled, and it was you could see in his eyes, he's already thinking, get up and go, get that touchdown. So, great mindset and awareness from DaRon Bland. He's had that awareness since he stepped on that field for the Cowboys. I mean, the guy, 5th-round pick, Fresno State, and again, I will pride ourselves saying that we talked about this guy 4 months before the draft, saying this would be a great pick for the Cowboys. I thought 6th round, picked in the 5th round. It's okay. We got him. And he's worth a 1st-round pick for most teams. Now, Jerry Jones finally kind of finalized this discussion. We're going to talk more about CeeDee Lamb. Of course, CeeDee Lamb with the ankle injury yesterday on the practice report. And, Jerry Jones was asked about how CeeDee Lamb is doing with the ankle. And according to Jerry Jones, he said, quote, he's in good shape. Right now, I'd give him a thumbs up for the game against Washington on Thanksgiving. So CeeDee Lamb is going to go. And I think CeeDee Lamb speaks on this a little bit more a little later. So that's the Jerry Jones little discussion there. I do want to bring up an interesting little change here of pace when it comes to Dak Prescott. Now, baby, I know I didn't tell you this, and I want to kind of surprise you on this, but Dak Prescott, this goes back to Week 17 of the NFC East, basically title bowl. This is like 2011, maybe? I'm not sure. It was a while back. I'm trying to think. 2012. December 30th, 2012. It was a Week 17 NFC East game, last game of the year to decide who goes to the playoffs, winning the division. It was the Cowboys in Washington, and it was in Washington. At the end, I think we had scored a touchdown, and then they called it back because there was a hold, and that was the game. Romo threw a bunch of interceptions. It was not a good day for Romo. Dak Prescott was done with Tony Romo. He posted about this on Twitter, and he said, I'm done with Tony Romo. He was 19 years old at the time and a huge Cowboys fan. He was at Mississippi State and going to become, again, the face of the Cowboys franchise in a couple of years later. But here's what Dak posted. He said, quote, he said, I'm done taking up for Romo. Hashtag had enough. I'm done taking up for Romo. And, he was like really pissed at Romo. I would say criticizing Romo in the same ways that Dak Prescott himself gets criticized in the last 8 years as a Cowboy fan. Dak Prescott said this. He doesn't finish, and none of those interceptions were because of the offensive line. Hashtag no excuses. This was his post about Tony Romo. And he's like, quote, you're supposed to throw it over a guy's head. That was the most embarrassing interception of them all. So, kind of, some of the things that we say, hey, Dak, why don't you throw it over their head? Why don't you throw that one away? Why do you try to force a pass, let's say, last year?
It's a little bit different sitting on a couch and saying it and then going out there and doing it, and even I acknowledge that.
But I will say one thing about this. This proves one. I've never seen this tweet until now, but this proves one thing. This proves that Dak Prescott is a typical Dallas Cowboys fan. You hate your quarterback, and then when he's gone, you love your quarterback. I'm just saying, like, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like it fits into what every Cowboy fan was saying after that game. Like, Romo is not the one. I'm done with him. Those kind of things. Remember, this is 2012 now, and we were on the brink of getting in the playoffs and nothing. So, anyways, Dak Prescott, And you look at the MVP odds now. Jalen Hurts, 250 to 1 odds. Lamar Jackson in second, 350 to 1 odds. Patrick Mahomes, 400 to 1 odds. Tua, 500 to 1 odds. And tied for fifth at 15 to 100 odds, it is Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott. So again, you're saying, okay, he's tied for fifth. That's great. He's right there where he probably should be. But look where he started, guys. He was at 5,000 to 1 odds 3 weeks ago. 4,000 to 1 odds after last week, and then after this week, 1,500 to 1 odds. So again, Dak Prescott obviously showing he can do things, but I will remind everybody again, even if the Panthers had the 4th best pass defense, we're playing some shitty teams with the Giants and the Panthers, so keep that in perspective. Another thing I do want to say, though, about Dak Prescott and his season right now, I will say this, Dak is having a great season, even more than just the numbers. Let me explain. If you look at the average separation that a quarterback's receivers are getting versus how often quarterbacks throw to an open man, Dak Prescott is just right now, guys, getting below average separation from his receivers. In general, of course, CeeDee Lamb.
Which has been an unfortunate, consistent side effect. Even when our offenses look great, the separation is not as there as we would like it to be.
As other teams have their receivers. Their star guys getting open. We're not getting our guys as open. That's with Kellen Moore. That's with Mike McCarthy. But Dak is getting average separation from his receivers and only makes his plays this year look even more impressive when you look at the fact that he is when you look at the percentage of throws to the open receivers, he's above the average mark there too. Again, above the average mark there, and in a way where you can see he is not getting a lot of help from his receiving core in general. Again, CeeDee Lamb is a different guy, but when you look at the other guys, it kind of brings his numbers down, and some of that is the game planning and the way that we've kind of focused on other guys or not, but Dak is not having much separation from his receivers, still getting the ball in there and still getting those passes caught. So, great to see Dak still, able to fire the ball down the field and then, get the ball to guys like CeeDee Lamb, let's say, right? Who, by the way, receiving leaders right now through week 11, Tyreek Hill at 1,222 yards, A.J. Brown at 1,013 yards, tied with CeeDee Lamb with also 1,013 yards. So CeeDee Lamb right now tied for second in the NFL with most yardage. Keenan Allen is about 2 back, 1,011 yards, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's got 898 at 5th. But that's a crazy thing. That's a huge drop right there. That's like 120 yards. That's a whole football game right there between 4th and 5th. So really, you look at the top 4 guys, that's the only guys really in this race. And honestly, Tyreek Hill is 200 yards, a little under 200 yards ahead of everybody else. So looks like Tyreek Hill is still going to be that guy for now. So Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, that connection. I know they spoke today after practice. I know you have some of those quotes there, baby, on what they had said, mentioned, and discussed there. So again, hit me up with some of that Dak to CD conversation.
Well, first, let's go ahead and start with CD himself, just because he was short, sweet, boom, straight to the point.
All right, right
and everybody
there,
just wants to know, how are you feeling? How's that ankle? He said, quote, "I'm straight. I'll be out there." Referencing, obviously, the upcoming game here this Thursday.
Yeah, and again, that means that we're going to talk about his injury situation on the injury report, which came out right after he kind of said his thoughts here on how he's going to be, if not ready for this game or not. So it looks good currently for CeeDee Lamb.
So, and yeah, like I said, I had to start things off there. So, kind of touching on the social media side of things, like you kind of joked, he said, "I get when fans are upset. I get it. I was once there. I laugh at it because I understand it's an angry fan. But then there are other cases. Those are the times you have to remember. He must have had his whole rant on that one. Once again, I give him grace and I understand. I say, hey, stop gambling." So I don't know.
Maybe a smart advice there. Throw that out there for a smart advice if you're getting mad because you're betting that money. But yeah, I mean, angry fan. He said he understands that. I mean, he was an angry fan when Rum was throwing those picks.
Was he also kind of jokingly, like, obviously he's talking about himself here, referencing his old self out there, little baby Dak Prescott tweeting and stuff like that. Does that mean that Dak placed a bet on the Cowboys and lost all his money?
That's a good way to look at it.
That's kind of how I took that too, because he, like, if you saw it, he's kind of laughing at himself a bit.
So he knows how it is if he's bet some money on that. But he shouldn't. Again, he said the whole house. No, I don't know about that. But Dak has, Dak definitely, understands an angry fan. He was one of those with Romo.
So, and like I said, Dak gets it because he's literally been on both sides of the ball. But adding to that, Dak said, the way that I feel, the confidence I have in this group, myself, being in the zone, I guess you could call it, whatever it is, the coaches, the chemistry of this team, by far the best I've ever felt. It's not just me. It's a lot of the things around me. So, and hey, Dak Prescott isn't wrong on that one.
Agreed. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, I'm just saying, with what Dak's doing out there, CeeDee Lamb, the combination, good hands right now.
So that was pretty much it from our guy Dak Prescott today.
Well, and then who also, of course, spoke actually before all of this was Mike McCarthy. Yeah, Mike McCarthy actually kind of said a couple of things here in his, I guess it was his pre-practice press conference. Sometimes he does them afterwards. But Mike McCarthy was mindful of the coaching staff's workload. Around this time of the year. So McCarthy said, quote, "I used to think sleep was for the weak." What a dumbass statement that is. I think you can respect that.
Nah, I agree.
And then McCarthy also said that, playing a divisional game on Thanksgiving adds to the significance of this particular game against a divisional foe, right? He said, quote, "All those things bring more energy to the field, and that's what we're preparing for. It's pro football, so they're anticipating a tough game this week. Again, against Washington, they're gonna bring it. It's a divisional game, so it adds to it." Now, all this injury stuff, CeeDee Lamb, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But we know about the injury to Mark Andrews that's currently going on. And, of course, looks like he broke his ankle. Looks like, is he going to, miss the rest of the season? There's a chance, Harbaugh said, that he can come back. But it came from the hip drop tackle. And that's the same one, as we all know very, very well. Tony Pollard, was injured with that broken fibula there when the hip drop by Fred Warner happened in that playoff game in January. So McCarthy was asked about that, that similar play, again, happened to Mark Andrews, and the similar play happened to Tony Pollard. And he asked about it. What is his thoughts, McCarthy's thoughts about the hip drop tackle? He said, quote, "It doesn't belong in the game." And then later on, he said there's no place for it. So obviously, when the votes come down, you can see the tush push might go. But more importantly, is this to make sure these ankle injuries on defenseless ball carriers, whether it's receiver or running back, tight end, whatever, quarterback, whoever, are more protected from that. Now it's hard to gauge that sometimes because it's just the way your body goes. You use the weight of your body to take the guy down, but they have to start teaching different techniques when it comes to that. So. And McCarthy also, speaking about injuries, said he wasn't overly concerned about CeeDee Lamb's ankle. That was kind of McCarthy's 2 cents on that. I'm not too concerned about it. Now, we heard you say CeeDee Lamb spoke about it. How did practice go? The first two songs, first of all, they play different kind of music. The first two songs they played at Cowboys,
get themselves into the mood of whatever team they're facing that week.
Yeah, but of course, usually when we're on the road, it's usually the city designation. This time it was just they start off the first two songs with Christmas songs to get into the spirit. Jerry Jones also walking around. We saw him interviewed. He was also with a camera crew following him around today on the field.
Something's going on there.
Yeah, he's filming his thing there. So, he's always got some production going on, Jerry Jones. And when you looked at what was going on in the practice field, Cowboys were in helmets and jerseys for practice. So still not, yesterday it was baseball caps. And today it was helmets. We're not even practicing with hitting or anything like that going on. McCarthy said they're going to be smart with the guys in practice as they work through injuries, and you're seeing that there, like CeeDee Lamb. He was on the field, which is great news there. He was listed as limited yesterday on the practice report, and he was moving around all over the field, looking like he was normal again. He looked spry, gave full effort, and went up high on a jump ball to make the catch. Looked normal for him, looked normal coming down. So good kind of feeling there after McCarthy spoke. and seeing the way the practice went, that CeeDee Lamb was going to be okay on this one here. Well, when we look at the injury report, you're seeing CeeDee Lamb, full participant in practice, upgraded from limited. Great news, and that's, on the second day, which is usually like a Thursday practice, this is the toughest practice of the week, and he's full practice. That tells me he's fully going to be in this game against Washington. So CeeDee Lamb looking good as he upgrades there. You're seeing resting days for Michael Gallup and Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is, of course, baby, he's getting, not injury-related rest day today. Same thing for Michael Gallup. Technically, Michael Gallup got a personal reason day, so hopefully everything is okay with him. But the important thing here is that Tyron Smith's still getting that expected lack of workload in practice during the week. As we know, he's not going to get much practice.
Exactly, but so he needs every bit of it he can get.
The rest, yes, for sure. Don't want him out there overexerting himself. Let him overexert let Tyron Smith overexert himself on the field on game day.
Yeah, that's when we actually need him. And remember, with the extra short turnaround time, we obviously are handling things a little bit differently than we might normally, even if it was just a week-to-week scenario.
And also, again, it seems like all the players in practice are getting the basic walkthrough or mock game kind of treatment. There's no hitting going on this week so far, and there's probably not going to be anything tomorrow either. So it'll probably be a more strenuous walkthrough is what you're going to get tomorrow. So no real practice these 3 days for anyone. But when you look at what the expectations are, Tyron Smith resting, Michael Gallup personal day, CeeDee Lamb full participant. Who else? Baby, Terrence Steele yesterday with the ankle was limited. Today he's full practice. So that's good news for offensive line. Looks like they're fully ready to go. Rico Dowdle, all right, with the ankle injury, and Jaron Kearse with his back injury, remain at the not practice. They did not practice officially. So, I look at Jaron Kearse and the back situation, whether he plays or doesn't play. Wanye Thomas, you'll probably see a lot more number 30 out there at that strong safety Jaron Kearse position in Week 12. Other guys on here, Kavante Turpin, full practice with the shoulder, so he's good to go. No setbacks there. Osa Odigizua with the hamstring, full practice, basically 2 weeks in a row. He's good to go. Peyton Hendershot, still not put on the 53-man roster, but he's eligible to come off the injury list there. So Hendershot, 2 weeks in a row so far. Still, tomorrow being the last day, he'll have full practices with the Cowboys. And that's it. That's the whole list of our guys on this side of the ball. Now, when I look at the defense and other things there, listen, we have our interception leaders right now. Baby, you know who the leading interception guy is in the NFL? Do you know the guy is? I'm asking. Do you know who the leading interception guy is?
Besides Bland?
Well, in the NFL. Yes, DeRon Bland, all by himself, not by himself. Geno Stone is also tied with him with 6. So those are the leaders right now. The 2 guys tied for first. Then you have two. The next interception is 4. So it's a 2 interception drop off there. Paulson, Adebo, Cam Taylor-Britt, Jordan Whitehead, and at 3 there's a shitload of players. So right now it's really between 2 guys. Who's going to get the most picks this season? Not pick sixes, but picks. Bland has 6, and he scored on 4 of them. That's incredible. Mind-blowing. So DeRon Bland doing his thing. But also, and I know Micah spoke today, but we also have the sack leaders. Where does Micah fit in this list? Myles Garrett has 13 sacks. That's the league leader right now. Daniel Hunter from the Vikings, 12 sacks. TJ Watt, 11.5 sacks. And Khalil Mack, 11 sacks. Then you get to the 10.5s, which would be Max Crosby and Kayvon Thibodeau of the Giants. At 10 is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, had 3 sacks this game. It took a half sack away. So he would have been at 10.5. My point is, he's 3 away. All we need is Myles Garrett and some of these guys to have an off day here and there. Micah keep kind of putting them together. He may get that top sack guy. Remember, when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year, these guys, these reporters, that's what they look at. Unfortunately, just the sacks. They don't see all the other dynamic stuff that Micah Parsons really does and changes the game for a lot of these, offenses out there. So, anyways, I also, we're going to talk about the defense here in detail a little bit more with the matchups when it comes to the Washington Commanders. But I do want to quickly point out that there's still over a week to go before the Seattle game next Thursday. And the odds are already out. They came out for this. And what is our current situation at home against Seattle? The Cowboys are currently favored by 6 points against the Seahawks next Thursday on Prime, Amazon Prime. So, and finishing up when it comes to the defense, just a quick thing overall. The leaders in point differential through Week 11, the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys. They're both tied at plus 127 points differential. Of course, that means we're blowing out the shitty teams. And and doing with the offense and the defense. But I think the defense is what we're talking about here the rest of the night, and I want to focus on that. So the NFL leaders in turnover differential through these through 11 weeks, Steelers are at plus 11, the Bengals are plus 10 with the Niners, the Chargers are at plus 6, and then the Cowboys, Broncos, Saints, and Bucks are all at Chargers are at plus 7, and everybody else I just mentioned were at plus 6. The next team after that being plus 3. The Giants. A big drop off there. Cowboys are in the middle of that pack there of the top, turnover differential leaders throughout the NFL. And again, like I said, tied for first in point differential overall, not just turnover differential. So again, the Cowboys defense playing doing a great job, doing what they need to do against the shitty teams, except the Cardinals. I think we fucked that game up. But I know Micah Parsons actually spoke after practice today.
He did.
And he was actually putting up. It's a funny thing I saw. He was putting up the Salvation Army U.S. Angel Tree. He was putting up like buying angels, I guess. And Dak says he got 8 of them up. So Micah says, "quote, make it 9." So he also said later, it's all about competition is what we do. So for him, you know how Micah is when it comes to competing, right? Yeah. He's insane about it. And even when it comes to doing stuff for the Salvation Army and he just wants to outdo Dak Prescott. So anyways, what did Micah say today, baby, after practice?
So in regards to the Commanders, Micah said, this is a really good team. When you turn on the tape, they've been close to beating the Eagles. They fell short just a little bit. It could have went either way. The Giants game, I don't really count that because of the amount of turnovers between running backs and the quarterback. The Seahawks game was down to the wire. So this is a team that can be in a positive any given way. They remind me a lot of the Chargers. They're a really good team. The ball just don't roll on your side sometimes. Huh. This is a team that could and should be on a positive track with the amount of talent they have. It's a team that we need to take very, very seriously.
Well, I do love to hear that, at least he's saying it. He's saying, ever since that Cardinal loss, the Cowboys have not, have been aware of the shitty teams when we play them. So they should have been aware of that first week. Should have taken that Niner game personal. That still is going to bother me, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that Micah and the Cowboy team seems very focused on this game against the lowly Washington Commanders. I
agree. So, and obviously Micah had himself quite the day, so far in that Thanksgiving game streak, if you want to call that Sunday game part of that, right? He said, I think I've been playing pretty good on Thanksgiving. That might be my type of game. So he said he added in there how much he enjoys playing in front of friends and family who specifically come into town during the Thanksgiving holidays. So
yeah, I mean, you'll see him here doing his thing against many teams in this video clip montage. Some of the best from last year, but he's even better now. And I think he's ready to kind of continue to make the run at attaching more sacks and disrupting more offense, the offense differently. If you notice this week against the Panthers, you see it sometimes on here, but you saw a lot of pass rushing success from the inside, from the A-gap. And that to me is interesting, and he used so many different techniques, and the concepts used by Dan Quinn were fantastic that allowed Micah Parsons to be so disruptive and quickly disruptive against the Panthers. They have a real shitty offensive line. Washington ain't that much better. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But, baby, go ahead and hit up what else Micah had said.
I'm pretty sure that was it from the man Micah Parsons.
Oh, that's all he said?
Like I said, that's all.
I know. We'll probably get some drippings of some other stuff he said here.
I know Tyler Smith spoke today, but again, not really anything of substance or significance. So just remember, keep that in mind.
Anything that comes through there, we'll definitely talk about it tomorrow, especially with tomorrow being the offensive, kind of more offensive baseline there when it comes to our side of things. But tonight we're going to talk about the injury report for Washington, and then the basically their offense versus our defense.
But before we do that, you know what you have to do?
Tell me, baby, what?
Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You got to follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. Extra special shout out to the sponsor of the week. You know why he's here, SnugX. A big mahalo to Marco Seppian, holding on with just 7 points.
Ooh, 7 points
on that stream box.
Trayvon
so,
Diggs.
Hey, you know,
digging it.
That's up to you. That's up to you, or Troy Aikman.
Well, yeah,
of course, SnugX
takes
is
it.
the Cash App king.
You know it.
Tip of the hat to him.
He's taking over a lot of these boards. Jason Renfro taking the gifting championship.
Yeah, say the gifting championship.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks, and he's right now in the lead for 3 possibly. So appreciate him. And Cash App lead, it is not Snug right now. It is Jason Renfro. He's doing a little undercover takeage there. Appreciate him. But, baby, the only person that really dropped on the stream tonight is Hannibal King 47. And Hannibal King 47 is in first place on the overall board. So I just want to shout out Hannibal.
Shout out to Hannibal.
And appreciate you guys, everybody in the house here, hitting the like, hit subscribe, hitting that bell, and all the other good stuff here, guys.
Chris Jackson wants to know, will we be wearing our blue and white Penn State uniforms?
We are wearing. I actually have the. It's funny because I do have it down here somewhere. It's for moments like this, and thank you for reminding me. But check it out. Here's the uniform, kind of the uniform weekly uniform schedule. Here it is. Boom, and you see where it says that 23. The second column all the way to the right. Mm-hmm. That's our uniform. That's the Thanksgiving throwback. You've seen it before. You saw it last year. You're going to see it again. So I like the helmets, but I think that the color rush to me is the nicest ones with the icy white and the Arctic look with those helmets that you're seeing in this game for Thursday. So again, you can see we're going to use it in 2 weeks. We're going to go icy white there against the Eagles. So that's a done deal there, guys. You've seen what it looks like. Now, let's do this quick breakdown on Washington and what they're going to present to us here. When you look at the statistics, all right, when you look at our Cowboys, offense, we're putting up over 30 points, 30.2 points per game. Washington's defense, 27.7 points per game allowed. So yeah, they have those good frontline guys. Not so much right now. And then you have. When you flip it over, you see, their offense, they're putting up 21.5 points per game. Our defense is only allowing 17.5 points per game. So, again, you bring it down to where the averages should meet, we're holding them under 20 for Washington. In my opinion, we should hold them well under 20. Now, when it comes to the rushing yards, we're putting up almost 117 rushing yards per game. Washington's allowing about 114 yards per game. So, that's going to pan out. We should be able to at least run some against them. When it comes to their offense, they're running for only 95 yards per game, but we're allowing 109.2 yards per game. So, they'll have a chance to maybe, burst a couple up the middle. I'm going to talk about the run defense here tonight. So remind me of that, guys. Now, offensively, passing yards, 255.6 yards per game for our Cowboys. I mean, we were at like 204 after 5 weeks of the season. So, big jumps here with big weeks every single week, pretty much by this entire offense. But passing yards has been going up by a lot. And when you look at their defense, they're giving up 258 yards per game in the air. So we should be hitting that mark easily. When you look at their Washington offense and passing, they're throwing for 245. But we're only allowing 157.1 passing yards per game, one of the best in the league. We lock down that with the pass rush and the coverage. You really can't do much in the air, or not get a lot of passing yards against us. Total yards allowed by our defense, 266.3 yards. That's it. Very little. One of the best in the league. Washington, 372.8. So you were cracking 400 total yards on offense there. We should definitely do that. Washington's turnover differential, -8. They turn over the ball on offense a lot, and the defense don't get it much. We're +6, like I said earlier, one of the top teams in the league. When it comes to Washington, let me go specifically to Washington here because they have their injury list as well, their practice report that came out today. And, we know what they are. Daniel Snyder not there anymore, but we know. The what the fucks. Snyder, Commies, whatever. So, as far as their team is concerned, guys, again, like I said yesterday, Effie Adoba, their defensive lineman, had a tibia fibula break. He didn't practice. today he was put on the injury reserve, as we figured. Now, as far as who practiced today, Corey Barton, linebacker, full practice, second day in a row. But he is one of the guys that is on still like the Peyton Hendershot, going to come back, but still trying to find a place to put him, or when's a good time for him to be fully acclimated. Then you're going to see Curtis Samuel, wide receiver, their third guy there with the toe. Full practice 2 days in a row. Again, no setbacks. He should be good to play in this game. Sam Cosmi, their starting offensive lineman, the guard, who's not that good. Well, he had a chest injury. He was limited yesterday. Today was in full practice, so good news. He's going to be out there for them. And then you have some limited guys. Antonio Gibson, their running back, they're probably just resting him, but he was limited in practice again today. Starting running back. Well, again, splitting time there with another guy here. We'll talk about him in a minute. Jartavius Martin, defensive back with the shoulder injury, still limited. That's the only two guys they kind of were half practice today. And then you see the did not practice guys. Cornerback, rookie, first round pick, Emmanuel Forbes Jr. has the elbow injury, did not practice yesterday or today. Alex Arma, fullback, hamstring, did not practice either day as well. Dejon Harris, linebacker with the quad injury, did not participate in practice today or yesterday. And James Smith-Williams, edge rusher, hamstring, also didn't practice for the second straight day. One guy that was added there was Kaliki Hudson, linebacker with the back injury. Sounds like it happened in practice, but then maybe it's maintenance. But either way, he did not practice today. So we'll see what happens when it comes to tomorrow in the final injury report. We're going to see who's game status ready and who's questionable and who's not. So we'll see what happens there. Now, when it comes to this positional battleground between the Cowboys Big D and the Washington Little O, Sam Howell is their quarterback. And again, if you look at the thumbnail, you're seeing Mr. Howell there. He's going to have to watch that defensive line of ours and Micah Parsons. But Sam Howell, what's number 14 going to bring here? He is currently leading the NFL in passing yards. Yeah, he's able to collect yardage left and right. He also has thrown 18 touchdowns this year, which is the fourth most in the NFL. Of course, we know Dak has thrown the most in the NFC, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, Sam Howell's stats are very misleading when you look at these things. Why is that? Well, because the Commanders' defense is playing so badly, and they're allowing 373 yards per game. So it puts the Washington Commanders team having to always catch up, throw the ball the entire game. So another stat you have to remember is when it comes to Sam Howell, he's throwing the ball so often, and he tries to keep the Washington Commanders in the game to stay competitive, that he also leads the NFL in passing attempts. And on top of that, he also leads the NFL with 12 interceptions. So again, you got Jalen Hurts right there, right behind him, by the way. But he's going to throw the picks, Howell. He's throwing a completion rate. And we know Dak's like 70% over that. He's throwing at 66%, guys. This ranks 14th amongst. That's the average. He's basically averaging only 6.9 yards per attempt, which is 20th. And again, his completion percentage of 66% ranks 14th among starting quarterbacks. So turnovers are there for the taking. He's going to throw. He might get some yardage out of us. I don't know how he'll have time or not, but if he can extend the play, they'll have a chance. Our pass rush is coming, but they're going to have to find a way to get Sam Howell, some lanes to throw and some time to throw the ball, so let the plays develop, because if not, it's over. And it's a matter of time when he makes a mistake. So he's going to need help from other guys. And in the running game, Antonio Gibson is one of those guys that missed last week at running back against the Giants, had a toe injury. His status for this game is still unknown. Like I said, guys, he's been limited in practice there. But again, they're leading the leader on their team when it comes to rushing yards. When it comes to rushing yards, is Brian Robinson. I mean, he's the guy that got shot, I'm pretty sure. I think it was last year. He came back and had a great season as a rookie. So he's so far this year, he's rushed for 558 yards, which is 17th among starting running backs, and scored 5 rushing touchdowns, which even our Tony Pollard doesn't have 5 yet. He has 4, I think. So unfortunately for the Commanders, though, Robinson is the only guy with any kind of production out of the backfield. And nobody else can really, as far as the running game, can relieve him. and get any kind of production in that same way. So the Commanders right now rank 6th worst as a group in rushing yards. And they have less rushing yards than the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, obviously, their run defense, to me, has been lacking in a lot of different ways. I mean, against the Panthers last week, the team that really doesn't, I mean, they try to run the ball, but they're not really, haven't really been successful when it comes to the Panthers, especially running for touchdowns. Again, we didn't let them get on board, like get going too much, the Panthers, but they did do enough to make me concerned. And to me, guys, I mean, again, the Cowboys are allowing 109 yards per game this year. So when it comes to rushing yards, it's a major concern. And when you look at the Panthers specifically, I know we beat them 33-10, but they were averaging 5 yards per carry against the Cowboys defense. When they got down, when it was 17-10 in the fourth quarter, as soon as we got 24 and got the pick 6, they abandoned the run. And that's the one thing I always say to people. When these teams abandon the run, it's usually trouble. I mean, the Cardinals had the closest player to get to 100 yards, and that was James Conner with 98. No one's got 100 yards receiving or 100 yards rushing on our Cowboys, or over 300 yards passing against our defense. So when it comes to the Washington Commanders, their best bet is to find a way to run the ball against us, in my opinion. And, you know, again, when you look at the concern for the run stop on defense, even though we've done a good job this year, I don't know if it's been strong enough, consistent enough for me to say I believe in this defense, because usually we dominate when teams abandon the run and we're up by some points. And I do believe that's part of the system and the way this team has to run. But that's going to be problems against better teams. If you start off slow like we did against Carolina and other teams that we started off slow against, you're going to get beat by teams like the Niners and the Eagles in the playoffs. So that's my big concern. We got to find a way to kind of slow down these runs. And when you look at the issues with the run stopping, and again, I love what Marquise Bell and Damone Clark are doing at linebacker, but it was about really bad fits. I will say Micah Parsons, to me, had a bad game at linebacker trying to stop the run. He was guessing a lot, Micah. He got turned around and went to the wrong holes every time. And you see other guys were late off the ball. So that's those little things that we got to clean up if we want to get just a little bit better at that run stop defense. It is overall hard to run against the Dallas Cowboy run defense. Usually it's because of the score imbalance. But if a team truly commits to the run and is successful, then we are in trouble. And usually it's going to happen with the better teams. So keep that in mind. Now, sticking with the Washington Commies. All right? All these yards that Sam Howell has thrown for this year, only Jahan Dotson has a 100-yard receiving game under his belt, guys. Not even scary Terry McLaurin, all right, has gotten 100 yards. And I will say, number 17, Terry McLaurin, he does lead the team, the Washington team, in receiving yards and in receptions, but he's only scored 2 touchdowns this year. He also has 644 receiving yards, which ranks 24th best in the NFL. Jahan Dotson is leading the Washington Commanders in touchdowns. He has 4 of those. And he also leads the team in dropped passes. So he'll make a touchdown, he'll drop another one. So, again, the Cowboy defense, when it comes to the pass, is allowing the second fewest receiving yards in the NFL. And the Cowboys are also allowing an average passer rating of only 78.2. That's the 5th lowest in the NFL. So the Commanders are in deep shit, whether it's Sam Howell trying to throw the ball under pressure or these receivers trying to get open with the Cowboy defensive backs and coverage guys. So, again, Logan Thomas, you can move to the tight end position. Logan Thomas, you're going to see some J-Ron Curse, maybe some Wanye Thomas. But Logan Thomas, on the other side of the ball at tight end, has 409 receiving yards this year, which ranks 15th among all tight ends. He also ranks second on the Washington Commanders, touchdown list there with 3. So again, he is second best with touchdowns. Again, Jahan Dotson's number 1. He's number 2 there with 3 touchdowns. But the last time that the tight end position scored was 4 weeks ago, at least to Logan Thomas. So Washington, again, not getting much. Even with all those yards from Sam Howell, they're hollow. It's fool's gold, as I like to say sometimes. So, finally, the trenches. which is always the biggest deal in my opinion in every single game. Who controls the trenches will win the game. If you control the trenches, by a large advantage, you will win the game big. So again, you look at the Commanders here on Thanksgiving coming in. How's that offensive line? Right now, they are allowing the 4th most pressures in the NFL. And we're a team that gets pressure. So Sam Howell has been sacked 51 times. That is also the most in the league. We know that Zach Wilson has been sacked 38 times. That's second most in the league. Look at that drop-off, guys. I mean, that's 13 sack drop-off between 1 and 2 most sacked. So if it tells you anything about this offensive line for Washington, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And Sam Howell is in trouble. He might get 10 sacks this game. So, again, the Cowboys pass rush right now has been very effective getting pressure. So the number one team getting pressure is us. And we'd be giving Sam Howell, and the entire offensive line major issues and headaches. Cowboys defense, we rank 5th in sacks this year. And we had 6 sacks last week against Bryce Young. And again, as far as the run blocking, talk about Gibson and Robinson in there, but what about the run blocking ability here? I'm going to say this. They're not that bad at run blocking. But pass protection, trash. But run blocking, not that bad. I will say that, if you compare them to our offensive line, we're still much better than them. So I would say, they're probably a little better at running the ball here. So, but they're going to have to pass. They're going to want to pass. That's what they've been doing all year. But you got to stop that run. So if they stay committed, that's one of the big keys. If this Washington Commander team on offense stays committed to the run, we must stop them. If we do and force Sam Howell to pass, which he'll be comfortable with, he's also comfortable throwing a lot of interceptions. So that's something and taking a lot of sacks. That's perfect for our defense, and that's what we should be doing in this game. That's why, again, we'll talk about the defense, their defense tomorrow, and our offense and how it matches up with them. But I'm going to tell you right now, if our offense does what they are supposed to do against, and again, I don't know how good or bad their defense is, but I'm assuming it's not that good. If we can be successful against their defense on offense, our defense should be able to just destroy any firepower they may have. They can be dangerous if we play off. They can be dangerous if we start off slow. So that's going to obviously be things we have to get answered here as we see what happens in this game. But again, on Thanksgiving, there better not be no fuck ups. Now let me see who's in the house as we get ready to drop out of here for the night and call it a night here on My Cowboys Family. And a relatively quicker stream today. Let me check the chat here real quick and get the Washington Commies off my screen. Give me a second, guys. Boom. Boom. Oh, yeah. And the what the fucks. Let's see who's in the house. Seabass in the house here. Heard anything on Deuce Vaughn and Martavis Bryant? Nope, not yet. And, again, Seabass, I'm pretty sure Bryant will not be around until maybe mid-December when it comes to the Cowboys. Prince Jackson, we're just going to stay in our lanes, eliminate the cutback in the run game. Again, that's one of the things, Prince Jackson, that's one of the things we got to do in this thing. Sorting laughing. It's probably high on something. Seabass, Howell has the ability to create chaos as well as throw picks. Exactly. He kind of reminds me of like a smaller Tony Romo. I don't know. But not as good, obviously. Not yet. Commanders sold 2 of their best players. They're right. Deron Payne gone, right? Wasn't he gone? Deron Payne? Or Montez Sweat. They let go a lot of their guys, traded a lot of their guys. Thank goodness not the aqua blue pants of Seabass. Now we're wearing our again, you see it here on our thumbnail. Boom. That's the jersey we're going to be wearing for this game, guys. Mike is wearing it. Deron Len's wearing it. CD is wearing it. Dak is wearing it in this picture. So, yeah, you know how that looks. The white pants, the Color Rush white pants with the white helmet and the star right there. You see it. No stripes around the star. And that's the same helmet we use for the Color Rush, the icy white Color Rush. We're going to use that against the Eagles in a couple of weeks. So you'll see that helmet being used again. I got that Prince Jackson question there. Commander, yep, we got you there. Cactus G. I can't believe Micah didn't do 11. Did you ever notice how gently Micah takes them down? Cactus, I've made a mention about that many times when the way Micah sacks him. He doesn't throw him down, and he sacks him and then just lays him down. He really does. He kind of puts them down nicely. Yeah, very gently. Very interesting there. I've seen that since, I think, last year. He's been doing that, and it was obvious. I'm like, why doesn't he could really kill this guy. He don't want to do it like that. He wants to do it by just getting his ass to the ground. That's what you got to do, and he's satisfied with that. I like that mindset in this new NFL. As Bodie said, you mean quarterback hurries are not factored? Nope. They're really usually not factored. A lot of these people do not look at the hurries. They look at straight up sacks, interceptions, fumbles forced, how many tackles you've made. Those are the basic, static stats that you see there being used since the beginning of football, basically. Although sacks weren't. Because that started in 82. Cactus G said, San Francisco and Dallas are the most powerful, and the Eagles are the luckiest. But they're making their luck happen for them, right? In my opinion. So little Dallas Cowboys said, if healthy, San Francisco is top 3 in the NFC. I hear you. Let's see here. Wanye Thomas says Seabass. You will probably see more of him. What's up, Manuel Trillo? We got Prince Jackson here, Asmodeus. Let's see here. We got Seabass. Bruce got the toxic juice here with us. We got, let's see here. Yeah, we got a lot of you guys still just having a big conversation. The wife, of course. House Nelson in the house. Mike Aldana, Eric Wallace, Asmodeus, Retro Scotty, Dak for MVP. We discussed that yesterday. Leroy, MH, Swarton, of course, here with us. We got Mr. Brandon James Shea in the house. Let's see, go back down here. And we got Amazing Games. About to drop that 5 on it. The $5 holler by Amazing Games, which, by the way, I think may put him back in first place, if I'm not mistaken there. Yep, it does, actually. Back in first place. Amazing Games jumping over Hannibal King, 47, with that final drop here on my Cowboys family for the night. And let me see. He said, "What's up, my MCF?" as he drops the Cowboy Stars and drops the Washington Karens. West Coast love. You know it. And don't forget, go Cowboys. You really know that. Let's go, Amazing Games. Appreciate you. And he is currently in first place on this board overall. And trying to break that streak there, or that beginning streak of Snug X as we're kicking off this new week here. Right now, Amazing Games in first, Hannibal King in second, Alanda Hanslu in third, Jason Renfro in fourth, Calvin Richard in fifth. Appreciate everybody in the house with us here tonight and every night on My Cowboys Family. Again, hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We cannot do this without your guys' love and support and all this. You can share this out on your own channels or people you know. Let them know about this spot here, and let's keep growing the family here. We're at 28.2, almost getting closer to 28.3. So, about 1,750 people away from that 30K. So we'll see what happens on that side. And let's see, Rolando Rodriguez here with us, also saying, my Cowboys family, good night from South Texas. And and we got a big drop here from Mr. Seabass over everything, dropping that $10 holler, saying Cowboys smack Washington. Dallas Cowboys for life. Hell yeah. Agreed there. Hey, look, we got Amazing Games throwing down his 37-13 thoughts there. What are you thinking, Seabass, on your prediction in this game? Yes, much love to Amazing Games. Much love to Seabass with a $10 holler there. And with that drop, let me just make sure I do my calculations correctly. Seabass jumps into fifth place. So, and that wraps it up here. Much love to you. We'll see here. Prince Jackson said also, I said we need 75 or 80 points plus from our backs to win the time of possession, forcing them to pass. Oh, did that one hit? Which one hit there? Oh, I hit the wrong one. Seabass's, I thought that was Amazing Games. Okay, so Amazing Games hit that 5. I already shouted that one out. And much love to Seabass, who also dropped that 10 on it. Much love. And by the way, he takes over as we end this tonight. That's Stream Boss. Yes, he took it at the buzzer. He's fully loaded. 100 points. Seabass over everything and finally hits that board. So, anyways, guys, on that note, we are wrapping it up here on My Cowboys Family. Have a good one. I see Seabass saying offense scores, defense scores, special teams score 28-14 against Washington. I hope it's more than that against Washington at home, which we usually dominate against the lesser teams. And I hope that we can put it out early so we can rest, because a week, not 10 days, but a week later we get Seattle. And then 10 days later, we get we got to go to a big game there, and all these games are at home. That one in 10 days after Seattle, the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, thank you for rocking here with us on the nightly. And yes, the wife had to get out a little earlier. But guys, as we get ready to get on out of here, Appreciate everybody here. Hitting that like, subscribe, the bell. On X and all, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, all those places on the social media, at MyCowboysFamily. Also, why do we do this crazy shit every single night here on MyCowboysFamily? It's because of that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here, we represent that star over everything. And of course, guys, 6 years and beyond on this little area of YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and never forget, as always, yeah, Cowboys! Let's get that 6. Yeah, not 1 or 2 like these other shitty teams out there. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping that knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you all, truly, guys, for dropping the love from above. Jason Renfro, Amazing Games, Hannibal King 47, and Seabass. We'll see you all back here tomorrow for another one, so we can drop out of here for the night, as the wife always says. We got to drop the beat. Guys, have a good one as you all prep for your Thanksgiving. And hopefully we get to, I can't, this time it's not an animal we can eat. So the commanders, we can kill the commanders, kill the commies for Thanksgiving. I don't know. It don't really make sense. But either way, guys, thank you for being here with us. Hit the like again. I see Asmodeus, Amazing Games, Hannibal King, Seabass. Have a good one. And yes, that's the uniforms we'll be rocking there against Washington on Thursday evening. While you guys are munching on turkeys, cows be munching on the contenders. Guys, have a great one here on MCF. It's always about that navy, blue, silver, and star for everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here in my Cowboys family. Much love to everyone. Have a great night. Stay safe. Hit the like, subscribe, the bell, and join us back here tomorrow for the reversed. Our offense, our Texas coast, burning up this Washington little D. Guys, have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever forget, yeah, Cowboy!